Stay tuned. You're watching Friedman Adventures. Mwah!
This is not a translator. I'm going to let her introduce herself to you.
I'm Desiree.
Oh my God. Holy shit. Got me on this together. I'm so happy. Oh my God. Phil, how the hell did you do
A really
this?
fun and productive method to take yellowfin croaker in the Southern California coast is by throwing a small lure. It really works well, and it's lots of fun.
Deception jig, man, and that thing hit the bottom, twitched it once, and it was
First
on.
gas coming up. Dad Leland's back. He ain't screwing around anymore.
Freaking nice bar purge.
Ah, life's good. Woo!
Good job, man.
Ah, Phil, I'm so glad you talked me into this.
Woo! What a way to start the morning briefing.
Bat dinner. Woo! Let's see that thing.
Check out this unusual creature that washed up in front of Louis Prieto's house in Ensenada, Baja California Norte. Dr. Gwen Goodman-Lowe from California State University at Long Beach says it's either a dwarf or pygmy sperm whale. Hard to tell from the angle. Extremely rare for these waters and rarely seen at sea. Most of what knowledge we have about these creatures comes from specimens that have washed ashore.
Let's go. Chop, chop.
Hey, good morning, my dear friends, and welcome to beautiful Surfside, California. This lovely Wednesday morning. It is so good to spend some time with each and every one of you. It's a gorgeous time to be in Southern California. Sure, it's a little overcast and it's cooler. It's starting to feel kind of like fall as we move into late summer now. Knocking on the door of fall. Halloween's right out there, and man, right after that, it's going to be Christmas. This year has definitely flown by. But it's not over by a long shot if you're talking about Southern California and Northern Baja fishing, because the best is yet to come. There is some outstanding fishing going on right now with this real variety that is pushed in to SoCal. That happens every single fall, just about every fall. We get this warm water push, and combined with an El Nino, man, things are looking absolutely fantastic with Dorado, yellowfin tuna, bluefin tuna, yellowtail, and so much more. Who knows? Maybe we'll even catch some albacore in the late fall, as Danny Cadota suggested on his live show last night. And you're going to want to go back and watch that one. That was a lot of fun. Danny sharing so much of his insight and knowledge to each and every one of you. Make sure you go back and watch that live show. By the way, mark on your calendar a week from tonight, a week from Wednesday, so that'll be the 13th, we're going to have Steve Oropesa from Promar, Gilbert Hernandez, and we're talking lobster. They are going to put on a phenomenal lobster seminar, followed by your questions, because we are going to be live for that one. You're going to love that show because both Steve and Gilbert have so much knowledge. They can answer all your questions. They can talk to you about how to catch more bugs, and they can also talk to you about the regs that are so important if you don't want to get a hefty fine. So that's going to be a great show. That'll be next Wednesday. Hey, the Apollo, we're leaving tomorrow night. I know so many of you are so excited, and you tune into the morning briefing. So remember, bring your bedding. Make sure you have something with 25 and 40. If you have heavier, bring that along. I'd love to see you. And this goes for everybody fishing right now, not only our guys on the Apollo, but I'd love to see you with Daiwa Sakana lures, like 100 to 150 grams, a few of those, and you should be good. I don't believe there'll be any nighttime jig fishing. It's going to be mostly daytime bait fishing, looking for kelps, trying to get a hit on the Dorado, the yellowfin, and the bluefin. And fishing right now, as I mentioned, has been really good, and it just seems to keep headed in the right direction. All my best to Sam De La Torre out there on the beautiful island of Cedros, where he and a bunch of the guys from Island Fishing Tackle in Carson, California, are having an absolute ball this morning, already catching yellowtail. So that is great news, and we're going to get a report from Sam because he'll have his live show, Tackle Shop Confessions, a week from yesterday. Tuesday night, we'll be there. We'll learn all about Cedros. We'll learn all about the great fishing there. You can answer your questions on that live show. So we have got a lot planned for you all. And don't forget one more thing before we jump into it with you. The Independence and Friedman Adventures sailing on October the 20th. What a trip. What a boat. The food the people, the crew, the fishing. Jump on board with us. It's going to be a great one. 5 days. Can't wait to see you on board that one. That's going to be fantastic. IndependenceSportfishing.com. Hit that like button. Share these videos if you are enjoying them. Please tick the bell. You'll be notified when we go on live with special updates or do any content at all. You'll be right there in the first row to consume it all and enjoy it all. And we can't thank you enough for, of course, subscribing to Friedman Adventures. It means so much. Just catch us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We are there for you all. All right, let's jump into it. We'll go south of the border, jump across to the beautiful port city of Ensenada in Baja California Norte, Mexico Lindo. And down there, the boys like Arnie are out. That's Arnie Sport Fishing, by the way, in Ensenada. There's Mara Sport Fishing. There's Blackfin. There's a whole bunch of great operators down there. And they're off chasing kelps, trying to catch yellowfin, trying to catch bluefin. You know how that goes. It's the same thing for the San Diego-based boats. You find that lucky kelp. You find that right little spot of puddling bluefin or yellowfin, and man, you've had the greatest day ever. You don't find it, and it's a long day offshore, but you can come inshore because the Ensenada area is also providing some really good action on bonita, barracuda, a little bit of barracuda, more bonita, a few yellowtail, lots of rockfish, calico bass, even a few sand bass still hanging out there in Ensenada. So not bad at all. The main focus, however, will be offshore, and you get to tell the pongero. You can ask him, and I always do, hey, what do you think we should do? And more than likely, I'm going to go with what they think. But if you're just an offshore do or die guy, just tell them, we want to go offshore. That's all we want. If we don't catch them, that's okay. We just want to give it an honest effort and really pound away and look for kelps, look for tuna down there in that neck of the woods. There's been a lot of that yellowfin mixed up with the porpoise, I should say the dolphin, more appropriately. And there's even been some on whales. So when you see that many times those yellowfin are traveling with those fish, sometimes bluefin also, your main objective is to find a kelp. And I tell you that because there's a lot of private boaters tuning into our show. But not only that, if you're on a ponga, you don't want to just sit there and, daydream. Become part of it, man. Find a kelp. Get more eyes you've got on the water, the better off you'll be. And that includes sport boats. Man, I'll tell you what, those guys are so good at finding kelps. And a lot of them have GPS trackers on the kelps now anyway. But a lot of times you'll find a new one. And if you have 22 eyes looking out to sea as opposed to 2 guys looking, all the better, man. You can find a kelp and make dreams come true. At San Diego Bite, it's the same kind of a situation. If you find that right kelp, oh my God, can it be awesome fishing? And then if you don't, it can be a little scratchier, and then sometimes it can be in between. The Condor yesterday, wow, what a day they had. 130 yellowfin tuna on board the Door. Nice hit. 160 Dorado, a couple of yellowtail, 9 bluefin tuna. That's the kind of a score that I'm talking about. Magnificent fishing. You're going to want to fish 25 to 40 pound. When it's full speed, you can even go heavier than that. But fluorocarbon, we love www.opsonusa.com. Put in FA at checkout. You'll get a free gift and a hug and a kiss from owner Greg Brown the next time he sees you. Fish that fluoro. It makes all the difference in the world. If you have a favorite fluoro, go with it. But once again, smaller hooks seem to be the ticket. Not when it's full speed, but when it's a little bit pickier bite. So smaller hooks and choosing a good hot bait. We always emphasize that, and it's so very important. So like a number 1, a number 2, circle hook. J hooks are okay on the flatheads. You can just go circle hooks to be sure because you never know what's going to gobble up your bait. The Dorado, there's a lot of this 3 to 6 pound Dorado, smaller grade, and some bigger stuff in there. Every once in a while you'll find a kelp where it's all like 5 to 10 pound with some bigger ones on it. And then the bluefin and yellowfin that we're seeing, I'm going to call them 8 to 20 pounds, some up to 40 pounds, and then some nighttime fish. There's been some really good nighttime fishing here recently. Starting to see some more bigger fish at night also. 300 to 400 gram lures is what you want to fish there. Knife jigs or SK jig, G jigs with dye wire, really good hot jigs. Again, don't fish anything less than 100 pound when you're fishing at night because there are some big ones starting to lurk around. There's also some of that 20 to 40 pound bluefin that's been biting at night once again. Freedom 22nd Street Landing, a $1.65 on the mixed fish. I tossed to Captain Trevor last night, and he said we found a kelp that was loaded, Phil. It was so good, so much fun, so much variety with yellowfin and bluefin and Dorado and yellowtail. You just never know when you roll up on one of these fall Southern California bite days. Man, I love it. It is so darn good. And I mentioned the Freedom while we're talking about San Diego to emphasize the fact you don't have to be running out of San Diego. If you're on a day and a half trip or better from San Diego all the way up to San Pedro, California, you're in the ball game, my friends, as long as that's what they're going to focus on. The horizon, we had such a great trip out there with those guys. 1.5 day trip, 25 bluefin, 30 Dorado, a yellowfin tuna. Producer overnight, 11 guys, 22 bluefin, 20 Dorado. They also had 10 yellowfin tuna, new, low, and man, that boat's been catching fish since I was a little kid, and they just continue to do it. 71 bluefin tuna, their biggest BFT, about 130 pounds. Nice hit there. 32 on the yellowtail, 4 Dorado, 3 yellowfin tuna. They were staying offshore. Some of that bank area is starting to come back to life, Tanner and Cortez, and there's other zones like the Butterfly that have been producing at night and in the daytime. That is all starting to come to life again as the whole ocean seems to be really, really active right now after we came off that full moon. Mission Bell, good friend of mine, is Sean Hardigan. He runs the boat. 14 guys, a bluefin, 25 Dorado, 20 yellowfin. The Tribute, limited out on bluefin, 150 Dorado, 36 yellowfin tuna. So you can see the mixing scores, my friend, up here in this neck of the woods. The Fury, Dana Wharf Sportfishing. Dana's on fire. They are situated in a beautiful geographical position to take advantage of this current bite. The Fury, 44 yellowfin, 32 Dorado, 7 bluefin. The Thunderbird out of Davies Locker, 100 mixed fish with the bluefin and the yellowfin and the Dorado and the yellowtail. Aggressor out of Newport, 55 Dorado, 10 bluefin, 11 yellowtail. So man, there is some really good fishing going on. So 25 to 40, you're pretty covered in this bite unless you get a stop on the big ones. And Danny Cadota said, if you've got that tackle, bring it along with you. Would I recommend you rent a 100-pound outfit for our Apollo trip? At this point in time, I will say no. Man, you're going to really want to strangle me if we get a stop on the big ones. I'm trying to save you some money here, is what I'm trying to do. And I'm trying to look at the overall bite and see what it is that I see. If that makes any sense at all. Starting to sound like some of our politicians. See what I can see. Yeah, I'm not going to say who. But anyway, it looks to me like you're going to be fine with 25 to 40. If you have the heavy stuff, bring it. I may change my mind tomorrow, so don't miss the morning briefing. If all that big stuff shows up or a wave of big-eyed tuna moves into San Diego, I have reserved the right to change my mind. So some awfully good scores going on right now in San Diego and up the coast. They're down there near the border. So since you're fishing the border, if you're on the U.S. side, you get to keep 10 Dorado. If you're on the Mexico side, it's 2 Dorado per angler. So keep that in mind. If you're a private boat, you want to be very careful about that. You're on the Mexican side, you do need Mexican permits. Keep that also in mind. So some awfully good mixed bag fishing. Nice weather right now. I don't know how the heck you can beat it. We take a look now at the island situation, Todos Santos, and I'll talk coastal also in Ensenada. Todos, a few yellows down there. Really good bass fishing, good rockfish. That's right off of Ensenada. The Coronado Islands, water temps finally getting back up, picking a few yellows there. Some bass and rockfish and that kind of stuff. But most guys are offshore because the offshore bite is so close to there that they say, heck, let's just blow by the islands and get to it. And then we look at San Clemente Island. Few yellows out there, not great. Okay fishing for forkies, but it's been slow for the most part. Calico bass, white sheep's head, whitefish, that kind of stuff. Beautiful weather at Catalina Island right now. The Pursuit was there yesterday. They had one nice yellowtail and then plenty of bottom grabbers, and it was gorgeous weather. The Pursuit runs out of 22nd Street Landing in beautiful San Pedro, California, and I'll tell you, they really pull all the stops out on every single trip. They are always trying hard for you. So Pursuit, 22nd Street, looking at Catalina. The Channel Islands, a little bit of sea bass occasionally, occasional shot of halibut. There's bluefin up there also. There's incredible lingcod and rockcod opportunities up there on the islands right now. We take a look at the coastal region, and along the coast up there, or I should say down there in San Diego, we see some okay calico bass. Just at times it fires up a lot of shorts. It's pretty darn good. At times dropping that fluorocarbon down to 12 pound or 15 pound will get you bit every single time. I mean, it makes all the difference in the world to drop it down, but plenty of rockfish down there. Same thing out there around Dana and those areas. Now, I also want to just mention to you that there's enough bluefin, Dorado, and yellowfin close enough where half-day boys are going to get a shot at this. They could run on it right now. It's just not biting with the kind of intensity and frequency that we'd like to see, so they're hanging out, but they've got that as a viable opportunity, an alternative, so keep that in mind. That is something else. Dana, we're seeing calico bass, rockfish, whitefish, that kind of stuff, nice sheep's head occasionally. Up here in the LA Orange County area, let's say from Newport up to San Pedro, local boats picking at the bass, nothing really that wide open. We had a water temperature drop, and we haven't gotten that temperature back to where those bass are eager to chew again. Once in a while, you'll see a decent sand bass or calico bass score, and then you have that mix of rockfish and whitefish and sheep's head. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, you're going to go home with some fish in the sack, that is for sure, and that goes for the local boats that are fishing in this zone here. Horseshoe Kelp, Iser's Reef, you know, all of those zones. There's plenty of sculpin if they strike out on the surface activity. And once again, keep your ears open. That bluefin and all that stuff is not that far off our coast. We just need that light switch to go on up here in this neck of the woods, up in the Santa Monica Bay, Marina del Rey. Those boys are catching mostly sculpin and rockfish. Few bass, few halibut up there. Up in the Channel Islands, boats like the Island Spirit with my friend Cody Rogers. Good morning, Cody. Those guys, good whitefish, good sheep's head, a lot of rockfish, occasional bass bite up there. They're still looking for the surface bite up there out of Ventura Harbor, sport fishing for their local boats. Don't forget, kids fish free on the Californian on Sunday. Paid adult, kids 12 and under, go for free. 805-676-3474 to fish with those boys. And then up there out of Santa Barbara, we see really excellent rock fishing and some pretty good lingcod fishing at times. Moving up a little bit higher, Fort Bragg, 40, 50 miles off the coast. Still some excellent albacore fishing going on up there. Those longfin little devils are up in that neck of the woods, and they're biting pretty darn well. A lot of 12 to 20 pound fish. Sometimes you find that real small grade, which is a good sign for a long season. And then sometimes you get a couple slugs in there, 30 pounders. Most of it 12 to 20 right now. Nothing wrong with that. That's nice fish. Taking a look also in the surf. Let me look at this for you. Wow, there's some big surf again. A lot of surfers already starting to get here just after daybreak. Pretty tough here because of all the kelp in the water. But man, if you can find a clean area, or even if you don't mind just, kind of dealing with this, yellowfin croaker, spotfin croaker biting on the bait. And of course, we see an occasional halibut in here still at this point in time. We had our last grunion run, at least scheduled, last schedule. May have another one the way things go. But once again, some pretty good fishing in the surf. And don't forget your surf fishing headquarters right down the street here is Big Fish Bait and Tackle right here in the beautiful city of Seal Beach, California. Make sure you say hi to the guys there. They have a lot of bait for you. If you want to go down and get some worms or ghost shrimp or any other kind of bait, they'll have it at Big Fish, your Southern California surf fishing headquarters. All right, my friends, there is so much going on. Don't forget to hit that like button, share these videos, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We'll see you all there. And also, a week from tonight, that lobster seminar is going to be awesome. 6 p.m. live. If you want to ask questions, we'll stay all night long for you. The boys have already said, hey, midnight, no problem at all. We'll hang in there. Steve Oropesa, Gilbert Hernandez, Promar. They're going to put on a heck of a seminar. And then when it concludes, you're going to be firing in all the questions about what kind of bait, what kind of gear, regulations, anything your little heart desires, they'll be able to answer for you. And the Apollo, can't wait to see you all. Israel de la Cruz works at Barona Casino, and he has arranged to get me an aged tomahawk steak that hopefully I can con the guys on the Apollo to cooking for me. I'm on the carnivore diet, and Israel, thank you so very much. That is so kind of you. My mouth is already watering thinking about that delicious steak from, I believe it's the Oak Steakhouse at the Barona Casino, and I can't thank you all enough for providing me with that, because I am on the carnivore diet. We don't want me to waste away to nothing. Thank you so very much. Hey, have a great day, everybody. It is always great spending time with you. There is so much variety pushing in here. By the way, marlin, guys, man, there's a lot of marlin around this year. It's going to only get better. You watch the October and November we're going to have on the billfish up here in this neck of the woods. Sam De La Torre down there in Cedros and all the guys from Island Fishing Tackle. Have a great trip. We'll get caught up with you on Tuesday. And of course, anything happens here today, I will be busting in on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok with special updates. Have a great one. Take care of yourselves, and I hope to see you really, really soon. Hey everybody, this is such a joyful day because all of the items that we collected and sent to Cedros Island have been handed out, and I cannot thank each and every one of you enough. We literally handed out thousands of pieces of clothing and other essentials to some people who could really use your help. I've got to thank the Friedman Adventures family. That is you, each and every one of you who donated. You made this all possible. Diego Nuno, who is a deckhand on the Royal Star, and his lovely family worked so hard to make this all come together. Ramoncita Higuera from the Abalone Cooperativa, she did so much, including shipping the goods from Ensenada down to Cedros. Ramoncita, mil gracias. And also Phil Capricio, who loaded his yacht full of goods and then transported them over to us so we could truck it all down to this beautiful isla. And also Father, or I should say Padre Saul, down there in the Catholic Church, which was the distribution point for all of these goods. God bless each and every one of you who made this come true, reaching our hands across the border to our brothers and sisters in Mexico to lend a helping hand. I can't express my gratitude enough to you, all of you who helped make this a reality. Take care, my friends. So proud of you. So happy that we were able to accomplish this great deed together.